Alright guys, I am back here in my 200-foot snake breeding facility. That's right, I actually measured it length and width, and everything in this room is all squeezed in here. All these racks and tubs and everything. Less than 200 square feet, which is pretty amazing. And today I want to talk to you about a genetic anomaly of the Scaleless Head ball python. And it only occurs in the Scaleless Head. And it's pretty interesting. I actually had one of my viewers ask about it on one of my comments, and he asked, what's the deal with the split vent scale, which is only found on Scaleless Head ball pythons. And let me show you, I actually have a Scaleless Head male right here, and this is the male I used this last year to breed, and he gave me all my Scaleless Head little hatchlings, which is pretty amazing that this one guy was so productive. And if you can see, he's got scales missing from his head, and if you mix two scaleless heads together, you actually get a completely scaleless ball python, which is pretty amazing. If I can find his head here. And today what I want to show you is what we call the split vent scale. So the vent scale is split into two only on Scaleless Head ball pythons. And I'm going to set this, I can't really do it like this. I'm going to set this camera up on this tripod, and I want to show you an up close and personal view of this guy's split vent scale. And then I also want to kind of look at some of my other ball pythons and show you that their vent scale is not split. Okay, so what we're talking about with the Scaleless Head ball python is the vent scale. And first we need to know what the vent is. And the vent on the ball python is basically where they go to the bathroom, and it's right on the bottom of the snake. So there's the top, you flip them over, there's the bottom, and it's just a few inches from the end. And it's where, in the male, it's where the hemipenes are, and it's where they go to the bathroom, it's where they mate. Basically everything in one spot we call the vent. And on Scaleless Head ball pythons, you should be able to see this one because he's a pretty big ball python. You can see the very last scale, right, if we can focus, it's actually split into two scales. So you have a scale here and a scale here. And in most ball pythons, that scale is one solid scale. And on the Scaleless Head, it's actually split into two scales. And that's what we're talking about, is the split vent scale in a Scaleless Head ball python. Now let me show you some of my other ball pythons that don't have the split vent scale. Okay, so I figure the bigger the better on this, because the vent scale is pretty small, especially if you're looking at hatchlings. It can be hard to see. This is actually my biggest ball python female. She is about 4,000 grams, and I am going to show you her vent scale. And she's starting to run away. Ooh! Alright, so take a look at this beast of a scale. If I could get it on camera. So it's actually, this is her vent here, and it's actually this scale right here. She's running away. It's this one right here, if you can see that. So this is our vent right here. Maybe the snake is too big, but it's this vent right, this scale right here, and you can see this scale is one solid scale from side to side. It's not split. So that's what we're talking about. Alright, so I pulled out my Scaleless Head Lemon Blast female. She's one of my holdbacks. And her vent scale, I think, is probably big enough you can capture it on camera. It's a little bit bigger. And let's see if we can take a look at it. She's really starting to run here, so it might be pretty difficult. But if you can see, right at the end here of her tail, she's getting crazy. Easier said than done with this snake. Alright, let's see. Right, if we can get into focus here. Focus, focus. There it is, if you can see it. There's the last scale right before the vent. And if you can get some good lighting and a good focus, it's definitely split in two. You can see that last scale right there. Boy. Well, and these hatchlings, especially when they first hatch, you almost need a magnifying glass. It's so small. It's really hard to tell. But I think you can catch it right there. That's a pretty good focus. It's this vent scale right here. It's split in two. Alright, so I know what some of you guys are thinking. You're thinking, so what's the big deal with the split vent scale and why do we need it? So, for example, take a look at this one. This is one of my hatchling scaleless heads that I hatched out this year. And if you look at the head, it is my lowest expression scaleless head. As a matter of fact, when I first was going through my hatchlings and I looked at this, I thought there is no way that is a scaleless head. And if you look really, really close, you can see almost one little bit of a scale missing. You almost can't tell that it's a scaleless head. And the only way you can really tell that that's a scaleless head is with the split vent scale technique. So the split vent scale is pretty much a surefire way to know if you have a scaleless head or not, especially if you're breeding the scaleless head ball pythons. You get a bunch of hatchlings and you're sorting through them and you're not sure. I would recommend always looking at the vent scale to see if it's split. And as a matter of fact, I've seen some people walk up to tables at shows and looking through their normals. People don't realize, they're breeding scaleless head and they accidentally slip a scaleless head in with their normals for, $20 or $40 or whatever they're selling, $60, depends on your area. Normals are usually the lowest end, and scaleless heads are, they have been pretty high. They're coming down pretty fast. They're still worth quite a bit of money, so you definitely don't want to mix up your scaleless heads with your normals, especially at this point in the game. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.